Oh, are you guys jamming along with me? I tell everybody, play what you feel what you play. If you're smiling, you're doing it the right way. My name's Jeff, and I work with a company called Our World Festival, and some of our sponsors help donate these drums so that we could give them to all of you to play. And I wanted to jam along with you, and since I couldn't be there in person, I made a quick video so that we could jam, and I wanted to show you some of the ways that I like to use the drums. Let's add a few more. Keep your rhythms going. Let's do something that'll make us sound professional. So it's a little secret that I use. I'm going to count us down, and then we'll all stop at the same time. And then maybe we can start back together. Let's see how it goes. Ready? 4, 3, 2, everybody stop. Back to the beat. Oh, that was just like we practiced. Just kidding. We've never done that before, but it makes it sound like we've been playing together for years. Let's try it again. Ready? Here we go. 4, 3, 2, everybody stop. And everybody play. Boom. 4, 3, 2, everybody stop. 1, 2, back to the beat. See if you can help me this time. Can you count us down? Do you remember what to say? I'll remind you. The easiest way is to say 1, 2, let's all play. Can you guys try that? Ready? Say it. Oh, we could do that all day long, couldn't we? Drumming makes us feel good. Sometimes if I have some stress, I can drum and it just all goes away. Because when you're playing music, you really can't think about anything else other than what you're saying on the drum. Let's try a little game. It's really simple and it's a lot of fun. And you guys can take turns playing this. It's called I Play, You Play. It goes like this. Ready? Go. Bop, 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 bop. Go. Bop, 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 bop. Go. Bop, 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 bop. Go. Bop, 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 bop. Hey! So now see if you can make up a few of your own. And see if your friends can say it back to you just the way that you played it. Or just close enough. A lot of the times we say close enough for rock and roll. Just keep your rhythms going. And when you get ready for a big ending, here's what I like to do. Everybody say together, count us down. 4, 3, 2, and rumble! So you can play these drums so many different ways. Let me show you a few of my favorites. And I like to usually start with the bass drum. The first word that I like to share with the drums is communication. When you communicate, you want to make sure that you think about what you're going to say and kind of plan it out. That way you don't get into trouble and you don't say the wrong thing at the wrong time. And the other thing is I always try to listen actually more than I talk. And I think about that when I'm drumming too. So when I play the bass drum, I know that I want to set up a really simple part so that there's plenty of room to tell the story later. And I think about music as a story that we're telling. I kind of think about how I'm going to communicate the story by the sounds that I make. And so I may start off with a pretty simple bass drum beat. Now to make that lowest sound, you want to use your hand on the side of the drum and let it bounce away. I call that the open sound because you're opening the drum head up. And then if you want to make a higher sound or kind of like a snare sound, then just clap your hand in the middle of the drum. And I don't usually play too hard. You don't want to hurt your hand or hurt the drum. So when you're playing, you can practice just getting that low, high, low, high, low, high, or open, closed. You can think about it either way, whatever works for you. And then I'm going to set that up. I'm using a looper because I wish I was there jamming with you guys, but I have a little electronic recording studio here that helps me play. So I'm going to set that beat up. Now I put it on autopilot, so it'll keep playing as long as I need it to. Then I want to add, on a drum set, you have the bass drum that you play with your foot, and you have the snare drum with your hand. And so then I like to put some hi-hat cymbals. And you could do this several different ways. If you use one of the medium-sized drums, you could actually rub your hand on top for a really quiet one. You don't always have to play loud. If somebody is talking loud all the time, it's kind of intimidating, isn't it? So sometimes I like to whisper. Can you still hear that? Now, the other thing that I really like to play that with is a shaker. And my secret shaker rhythm goes like this. If you hold it in front of you, drop it down for, say, we. I use musical sentences a lot of the times to learn my rhythms. Pull it back close to you and say can, and then flick your wrist a little bit, but hold on to the shaker and it makes it a little louder. And so say shake, and then bring it back for and. Put it together and you have we can shake and we can shake and we can shake. And with a little practice, you can double it and it sounds like this. Go, we can shake and we can shake and we can shake and we can shake. Now, one of the most popular drums all throughout the world are frame drums, and this is a special one because it has jingles on it, or they used to call them zills, and so you can hold this several ways. You guys have probably seen somebody playing it. That's a very traditional way to play, and then sometimes, did you notice I was holding it in the hand that I write with, but sometimes I hold it in the hand I don't write with, and I just tap on top. I like to use my thumb on the smaller drums, or you can still use a finger or your hand on the edge. But another really cool way that I like to play is I hold out the hand that I don't write with, like I'm going to shake somebody's hand, and I put the drum in with my thumb on the inside, and then I hold on to the edge of it with my finger, and I can actually play the zills with my fingers, and I can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers, however many fingers that I can fit into the rhythm, and play something like this. Now, another way that I like to play is I may use my thumb in the middle, and then I kind of rotate my hand. I kind of flop my hand around, and I can get some cool sounds like this. Or they have a lot of different techniques. I could play the head and the jingles. So, communication is one of the most important parts about playing drums. Remember, you want to make sure that you're speaking clearly, you think about what you're going to say, and then you listen so you know how to respond when people ask you a question, and you're not just thinking of the next thing that you want to say. When I'm drumming, the next thing that I like to think about is the idea of connection. And so, when we all play together, this is about sharing the rhythm. And so you could hear when I put the different parts in, eventually they connected to kind of make a song rhythm. And this is how we work in the studio when we're building drum parts for a song. Sometimes I do it on the drums, and sometimes I do it on a beat machine. And I think about what I want to connect. How do I connect the low and the high sounds? And so making a connection here, I kind of put these drums, I'm not sure if I got it right, so we need to check. I thought they had a connection. When we think about all of the different instruments, each one, just like you, has a unique voice, and that's what makes us special individuals. And so each one of these drums has some lower and some higher voices, and some are really close, but just a little different. Think about this. Next time that you hear a lot of people talking at the same time, try to listen to all the different voices and try to make the connection to where the sound of their voice is coming without seeing them. So that's a good little practice tool. I'm going to obviously show you the drums first, and let's see if we can figure out if I have them in the right order. Let's move the tambourine so it doesn't rattle. Oop, now I kind of left those in the same order. I thought I had them mixed up. So why don't we do this? Now see what they sound like. Oh my. So I think that's probably a lower one. That's a lower one. And we're back in the order. Ooh, those are pretty close too. So you could also set these up. A lot of the times I play these sitting in the floor. Sometimes I'll play them under my arm so I can walk around and move and groove. But I like to put them on a table so I don't have to bend over or I don't have to sit in the floor sometimes. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. So the connection with these drums is kind of like a piano. Now, in the case of a piano, the lowest notes all start to this side, which is my left side. And then they all can play sometimes just single notes, or we may even play some notes together. You may pick a couple of different ones, and that's how bongos were created. So one bongo or two bongos, and when you play these together, before you even hear these, you know this one is going to have a higher pitch and this one will have a lower pitch, because larger drums usually make a lower sound. And it was true here. So let's try one more pair and just see how they stack up. I'll just pick two kind of randomly. It still worked there. So this allows us to play the melody of a song. In other words, kind of connect two notes together. And that's how we start to sing along with the song. So you can even sing with drum parts. A lot of the times people think that drumming is just about rhythm, but when you have all of these different drums, each one has a unique voice. And so when you connect them together, they really can create a beautiful song. Now, the trick is listening and making sure that your notes fit into the right places in between what others are playing. You don't always want to play the same rhythms. Sometimes you just want to do your own thing, but make it fit together. So our third word is collaboration. Can you guys say collaborate? Does anybody know what that means? So collaborate is something that you do after. It involves communication and it involves connection. A lot of the times when artists start to work on a project, we have to talk about it first, and then we kind of agree on certain parts that we connect to those parts, and then we figure out how are we going to collaborate to make this music or create this art. And so collaboration is about using the skills that we already talked about and then kind of making a plan of how you're going to work together. And when you're playing with the drumming group, it's all about working together. If you're playing a rhythm like this, but then you have someone else maybe playing a rhythm like this, even though that's a fun way to play, it's not a really good collaboration with that part. So if I was going to try to play, let's use the looper again, and you guys can try this by, if one person sets up a rhythm, now think about it. Make a plan before you start to play. Now, what could I play that would fit into that? Of course, I could pick any of these different instruments, but I'm going to pick one. Well, I think that one sounds pretty good with it. What do you think? So let's put it in, And I don't want to play the same rhythm. I want to play something that complements or just kind of goes with that rhythm. What do you think? Is that working? Should we add one more? So collaboration can keep building. Oh, I think that's the one. Now, I like to use all the different voices when I'm playing, so that's why I included these peppers. They're not to eat, they're just to shake. Let's add a little shaker over the top. And that just smooths everything out. A lot of the times, some people don't like to play shakers and tambourines, but these have actually become some of my favorite instruments. In the studio, I always put a shaker track, even if it's so low that you can't hear it. It really connects the all of the other instruments kind of pulled together with that shaker. In the same way with the tambourine, remember the shaker rhythm where we went, we could shake it, we could shake it, we could shake it, we could shake. I could do the same thing with the tambourine. Now don't forget about some body percussion, so you can always add that later. Oh, I could do this all day long. In fact, that's what I do for a living. I had a dream when I was very young that I wanted to learn how to play the drums. And I studied really hard, and I learned something new almost every day. Every time that I play, I try things a little different way. And over many, many years of practicing, I think I've gotten a little bit better. And so I want to introduce you to the last word, and that's what I do every day, is celebrate. You know, every day is a celebration, and so we can celebrate with drums, we can celebrate with singing. There's so many different ways that we can celebrate. So when we think about the celebration, we kind of want to make sure that we communicate with our friends, make the connections that we need to so that we can collaborate, and then figure out what are we celebrating. Sometimes we just celebrate the joy of life, or a lot of the times I say the rhythms of life, because there's rhythms around you all the time. So keep your rhythms going. I'm going to keep jamming. I want to hear your rhythms. Maybe you guys can even make a little video for me and send it back, and I can check out, and maybe one day we can even jam together. How cool would that be? Do you notice my smile? So I can't help but smile when I play because it makes me feel good. And It also makes people feel good around you. When you're playing together, everybody's working toward the same goal of making music. I'm Jeff at Drum for Work. I hope I can jam with you soon. Keep your rhythms going. Maybe I can make another video and send you some new rhythms to play along with too. Be safe. Be well. Enjoy the drumming.